Episode 46 of the Third and 10 podcast is live. What's going on, everyone? I'm Nate. Brian's here to my right as always. Um, yeah, we hope you guys are doing well, man. And it's almost a weekend for some of us. Basically, for me, my work week starts on a Monday. Or it starts today. So today's my Monday,
Today's
while the rest
Monday.
of yeah. While for everyone else, it's freaking Thursday, like Thursday, Friday, all that stuff. But that's just the good and bad. That starts with working from Thursday all the way to Monday. So prayers for a healthy, not so busy week of sports. Moving forward, starting today, after what happened last week with Thanksgiving. But Brian, how are you, man? How's your Thursday been
I'm
so
doing
far?
great. I'm I'm so happy to live in a country where minor league hockey teams have $2 beer night promotions on Wednesday. Like the European mind could not comprehend. You're not even allowed to drink beer in the stands in Europe. And yet in America we sell beer for $2. It is beautiful.
I assume that means you took advantage of.
Oh, I was working, so I could not partake. But had I not been working, I would have.
How has your job been with the
Oh,
hog?
it's been great. It's been great.
You're a
Team's
busy
great.
man.
Yeah, I do a lot.
Yeah, you're writing articles for Belly Up Sports. You're part of this podcast. You're the hockey podcast you host with Daniel Smooth and Ryan McCarthy, and then you have your job with the minor league team of the Islanders. So you're just all over the place, man. You're always
Mhm.
doing different things. So obviously super proud of you. Keep it up, man. And obviously grateful to have you here.
Yeah, no, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
But if
All
you're in
right.
the Bridgeport area, Wednesday night, $2 beers at the Bridgeport Islanders. Go out. It's an amazing time.
What beers do you guys have? Just to
Oh,
ask.
we got everything. Coors Light, Bud Light, Miller Light. Whatever any beer you can think of, we got.
What is like the best one?
I'm a
In your
Coors
opinion?
Light drinker, but it's all on your preference.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Yeah, I don't. I will say the one time I had, I don't really count it, but I remember I was in my home country of Vietnam in about 2018.
Hmm.
And my cousin, we were, walking home from a wedding, not walking home, but walking back to our hotel from a wedding. And he was like, "Hey, you want to drink?" And I'm like, "Nah, I don't drink like that." And it was my cousin. He was like, "Come on, let's go. Like, at least have one." So I was like, "All right, man." So he went to the stand, and you can, you know, be disappointed in me, but he got two Budweisers.
Oh, that's fine. Budweiser's fine.
Uh, I think not. We went back to your hotel, opened a can. I took one sip, and it was the most disgusting thing ever.
Yeah,
I was like,
but you had to start with the light beers, and it's a very acquired taste. You got to drink them. You got to drink a few before, like, oh wait, no, I actually do like this. Like I
yeah,
think it was to like my fourth beer. I'm like, okay, actually, this is pretty good.
nah, it was not the most best tasting thing in the world.
Hey, I mean, I'll tell you, my first beer, I was in MetLife Stadium parking lot. I had just just gotten my learner's permit, and my uncle gave me a Bud Light. I took one sip and spit it out. Like this is disgusting. And then after the game, I just kept doing it. I'm like, you know what? This isn't bad. And now we're here.
It's an acquired taste, basically.
It's an
So,
acquired. It's a very acquired taste. But once you have the acquired taste, it doesn't go away.
all right. Well, no promises that I'll try another drink in the future, but I will keep you updated, good sir, because you, in my opinion, you're one of my drink experts because of your experience. So,
It's very experts very loose.
well, I tell you what. Speaking of experts, um, we'll be talking about the NFL, and not just about the NFL in this week's games, because obviously there's a lot of exciting games that we could be talking about, but I do want to focus on particular players
And our team is playing in
because
the worst.
uh,
Our team
uh,
is playing in the worst. The Giants versus the Saints, which
uh
like the Saints are the most miserable organization, maybe outside of us and the Jets. Like if you actually look at the Saints, is they are not good enough to make the playoffs, but they're so messed up with their cap and the contracts that they can't get out of it. So they're like just being mediocrity for the next like 5 years. Like there's no hope at all.
and then playing in a division that's like very mediocre.
Yeah,
Like,
they're gonna like rattle off like 6 wins. It's like, well, you guys aren't gonna get the first overall pick again. It's like, come on, like, can we just have 1 year where we bottom out and get a generational talent?
that's true. The Saints just never have. It's been rare to see. Actually, no, not even that. I think just recently they've never been in the top 10.
No, they're always like 10 through 15. They're right there. They never make the playoffs, but they're just never a top 10 team. They're legit purgatory. And there's
Always in
no,
the middle.
with the Carr contract and all the veterans they have, they're not getting out of it.
They're always in the middle. They're always in the
Mm-hmm.
middle. So,
Which is
um,
arguably worse. Like, I know we're
yeah.
bad and it's sad, but at least we have, like, okay, we're fighting for the first overall pick right now. We could get Shedeur Sanders. Hey, maybe we trade down and get a lot of draft picks. That hope doesn't exist for the Saints. It's just like, well, I hope these aging veterans can, like, maybe not have horrific regressions, and maybe we can sneak into a wild card spot, and then from there, who knows? Like,
Mhm.
that's what the Saints have to hope for every year.
Because we always have something to look forward to, even if in the last season. Meanwhile, the Saints, if they don't make the playoffs, it's like, okay, so we have a
It's
mid
like,
first round pick, and we were mid in the season, so it's just like, what? There's no
and
wiggle.
then we don't have the cap space to do anything, so we just have to run it back.
Exactly. So, yeah, we'll talk about that game later. We have found out who our starting quarterback is for Sunday's game. Um, but we'll discuss more at the end of the show. Talk some baseball as well later on, and some NFL suspensions because it's two normal suspensions. One of them came out yesterday, and it kind of it's a different weird situation going on
Yeah.
in this on this team. But we'll talk about that later on. All right. So last night I was thinking about it. Um, Brian, I think life is all about second chances. I think that's fair to say,
Yeah.
right? I think we all make
Everyone deserves
mistakes.
one. There's certain situations where you don't deserve one, but everyone deserves a second. For the most part,
For the
I
most part,
feel
right?
everyone deserves a second chance. You
Yeah.
know, maybe some guys don't. Maybe, Osama bin Laden, I don't really think we should give a second chance to, but like everyone else is good.
Yeah. Um, yes. So in most to all good situations, let's say like
Maybe
you're working at
Diddy, maybe we should give him a second chance. Epstein, like maybe we should stay away from those guys. But like the guy that messed up, like actually committed some tax fraud by accident. Yeah, maybe we should give that guy a second chance.
R. Kelly, obviously,
R. Kelly, yeah, no, obviously not.
Drake,
Harvey Weinstein,
yeah,
nope.
just
You know,
all
the normal people.
Aaron Hernandez.
Hernandez, yeah, no.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
not give that guy a second. Ray Lewis, well, he actually got one.
that's true. Brett Favre,
He might be
no,
getting one.
he might be getting one. So
We don't know. It's Mississippi.
exactly. But it's safe to say most to all good situations, a lot of people deserve second chance. I mean, for the both of us, right? We have our jobs, and as well as you guys watching and listening, we all make mistakes in our job. Um, and what's important is that we learn from our mistakes and we learn from our experience, and we just continue to get better every single day. And the reason why I bring that up is because I feel like the NFL is all about second chances. And this year has been an excellent example of this for sure. We've seen multiple players who struggle with their first teams, and a lot of people, including ourselves at times, wrote them off. Bryce Young, I remember at the beginning of the season when we put what 6 points against the Vikings, I think, or whoever we
Mm-hmm.
put up 6 points
It was
against.
6.
Yeah, the Panthers thought 47 points in their first or second game of the season, and I was the one making fun of the Panthers and Bryce Young, like, oh, how's that? Try look for Bryce Young now, and Bryce Young was struggling heavily to start the year, and a lot of people were like just writing him, or not wrote him off, but kind of were like, okay, did the Panthers mess up? And then they benched him, and it was just a whole like, what are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
really? Andy Dalton's going to be your starter for the rest of the year, and what's going to happen with Bryce Young? And you saw the face on Bryce Young during that week he was benched. He was just sad, dejected. Like he did not look happy at all.
Who would
And
be?
yeah, you're a young quarterback. You've gone through so many different OC changes and head coach changes. It's like, why am I the problem? Like, why can't you just let me grow? And that's the thing with young quarterbacks. And I think second chances and young quarterbacks kind of tied in together because so many rookie quarterbacks, especially recently, have gone through so much change. We've seen with Bryce Young, right? He's gone through so many OCs and head coaches. I think he started with Frank Reich and now he's with Canales, but so many different offense coordinators already through his ear. Even with Caleb Williams now. Not that he's still on his first chance per se, but he's already gone through,
Well,
losing.
3 coaches by his second year.
Yeah.
Because he has Eberflus, the interim
Get
right now, and whoever they hire.
And he obviously lost his OC and Getsy this season as well, mid-season, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
So just a whole mess. But back to the Bryce Young situation. What matters after you mess up, whenever you mess up, is you always learn from your mistakes. And for Bryce Young, I don't know what happened. I think we can all just predict he had a great 2 weeks of practice, watching film with the coaches, got a second chance. And he's been balling out ever since. Like, I felt bad for him, obviously. Obviously, I think we all did when he got benched because he's a first overall pick.
And only played 18 games.
Only 18 games.
Such a small sample size. So, are we really going to judge this guy who's gone through? And he didn't put anything good on tape, don't get me wrong. But, this is a guy in the worst team in the NFL, and we're only going to give him 18 games to try to be the guy he was at Alabama, which is essentially an NFL roster. Like, Alabama when Saban was running it. Come on.
It's bad. Because, this season he didn't play week 3, week 4, was 4 for 7 in week 5, didn't play week 6, played a few snaps in week 7, and then he got the starting job back in week 8 of 2024. So between week 3 and week 6, that's but 4 to 5 weeks of just not being the starter. Like they gave up on him quite fast.
Yeah.
But he came out in week 8 against the Denver Broncos, went 24 of 37, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, but he looked great. He looked okay. And honestly, the past 4 games, he's had 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's progressively getting better, statistically wise and yards wise. And what I'm trying to say is sometimes all you need is a chance to prove yourself again. And he's run along with that. And honestly, for me, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, he deserves to be the starter long term.
Oh, yeah. I think he's definitely earned the opportunity to be the long-term starter.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's earned the starting job next season. If it doesn't work out next season, all right, that's 3 years in the league. We'll find somebody out. But he's definitely earned that right to at least get a chance.
Mm-hmm. So, I think the Panthers report the other day was we're going to stick by Young for next year. And that's good. I think he's not the issue. I think there's a lot of
it's ownership.
It's ownership. It's the core around him. There's just a lack of a wide receiver number 1. I think the Panthers have a lot of 2s and 3s.
They are a team that should go out and get T. Higgins this offseason. I know we're really big on the T. Higgins train, me and you, but I don't know how much cap space they have, but if they should dedicate it all to T. Higgins and just be like, Bryce Young, this is your best friend now.
Mm-hmm. Because that team is just filled with 2s and 3s, so they need a true receiver number 1.
Adam Thielen was his wide receiver number 1 his rookie season. Adam Thielen is a good wide receiver in 2017. It's 2024.
He needs. I think if he's on a team, he needs to be your number 3 or your number 4. Not your 2.
He's your number 4 guy, and it's just get down the field and get open.
Mm-hmm. I think right now for Carolina, it's Leggett and Coker are his receivers, and I mean, he lost Deontay
Yeah,
Johnson
Diontae Johnson.
via trade, but we'll talk about that later because he's made headlines recently,
Mm-hmm.
and it just creates a whole. It's a mess right now with him.
Even Johnson wasn't a wide receiver one. Like he was fine in Pittsburgh, but like I wouldn't say he's a wide receiver. I wouldn't say he's the wide receiver one you want to pair a young quarterback with.
Mm-hmm. On the team, on the Panthers, of it, and
I mean, on the Panthers, I mean, we could be wide receiver number ones in the Panthers. We're sending Wan'Dale Robinson down there. He's number. Darius Slayton's probably
100%.
wide receiver number one on the Panthers right now.
I think if you're a guy that's unhappy with the situation and wants to be like a star wide receiver or have a chance to be a star wide receiver, you'd go to Carolina because that's they don't have anyone.
If you want to be the face of the franchise, you go to Carolina. And like that's not saying much because like I guess Bryce Young is actually probably Dave Tepper's the face of the franchise right now for not good reasons. But like on the field, it's Bryce Young.
Yeah. Or maybe it's Chuba Hubbard,
yeah, he's sneaky, but I don't think the casual NFL fan knows Chuba Hubbard like they do Bryce Young.
True.
He's a really good running back. Don't get me wrong, and earned that extension. But like I think if you just ask a guy who casually follows like the NFL, name a guy in the Panthers, I say 90% of them will say Bryce Young.
Yeah, makes sense. Speaking of, I think Chuba signed that extension to stay with the team
right before the Giants game.
Before the Giants game, right? So
before the Germany game, he signed the contract. He was on the plane to Germany.
I think he just added to the list of guys who re-signed or have played well for their teams that the running backs behind them don't really have a chance to prove themselves. Not to go off topic, but I mean with the Panthers, right? They drafted Jonathan Brooks, the running back from Texas, second round pick of 2024. Who knows how he'll pan out because he's going to be the backup behind Hubbard. You don't re-sign Hubbard just to not for him to be the starter. Dolphins got Achane. They drafted Jalen Wright this past year. Haven't seen much of him. Blake Corum on the Rams. He's behind Kyren Williams, who's at first was the punt returner for the Rams. I don't know if this
freaked me out as a fantasy guy. Like, no, don't do that. That's just such stupid. That's such an easy way to injure your star player. Go wide receiver number 4 out there. I don't catch punts. Learn it. You want a job? Learn,
exactly. Hey, put Blake Corum back in there because Corum isn't getting much snaps at running back anyway. So, and he's someone that was drafted that has got a chance to really prove themselves because the guy ahead of him. I know obviously hindsight's 2020 and you want to draft the best available player, but it seems like those 3 players have been kind of a waste so far because their starters ahead of them.
I think they've been a waste so far, but with the NFL being such a copycat league and everyone is going to probably want to copy Detroit's model with the Sonic and Knuckles, could 2025 be the year of, the dual threat running back coming out? Because the Panthers can do that with Brooks and Hubbard. Rams do that with Williams and Brooks. Like these guys, the running back position has become so weird and the bell cow back has kind of died that will this Sonic and Knuckles pairing the lines have kind of be the gateway to the new kind of what the running back position will become. We have multiple guys that do different things.
Unless you're San Francisco, who has not just one, but 2 of your top running backs in McCaffrey and Mason.
I mean, there's obviously going to be exceptions to every rule. Like, there's always going to be one bell cow running back on every team, regardless. But I think, like, in 5 years, when you look at the majority of the league, it's going to be splitting time between 2 backs.
Maybe for us Giants, we'll get someone else. Ain't gonna be Singletary.
Bring Tracy, and, like, if you want to... the only running back I know is the Boise State kid, which we're not going to get.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we're going to get him. I think he's going to go first round, and if we're spending first round on a running back, we are stupid.
Screwed. Mock draft next week, by the way. We'll get something going. We need like a bruiser. I think you knew from this past year. I want to estimate for sure. Not from Tracy, but if we had estimate on this team, like a little bruiser back.
Little Brandon Jacobs 2.0, like
yeah. So we'll see what happens with those running backs. But anyways, back to the topic. Yeah, so Bryce Young is just one example of a guy who was given a second chance to prove himself and seems like he's run away with it. And as long as he has a better team around him, I think his future is back to where we predicted it to be, which is a top NFL quarterback one day. And let's go to a veteran guy that has gotten a second chance to prove himself. That's maybe second or third or fourth, depending on how you want to look at it. Sam Darnold, drafted by the Jets, had a weird rookie season, 17 touchdowns, but also 15 interceptions. In his 2018 debut season, in 2019, went 7-6, had 19 touchdowns, 13 picks.
Didn't he get mono? Was that the year he got mono?
Mono. I think it was because
That is my favorite story of all time.
Just weird
It's the most
situation.
Jets thing. Hang on, I gotta share my screen for a second.
Let's take a look.
Hang on. Share screen.
Yo, I think it was that.
This one.
Was that year.
This was my favorite meme of all time.
Oh my. Mononucleosis.
This was my background in high school for like all 4 years.
You're evil, man.
And the fact that he's pointing.
I'm out with Mono.
I'm out with the middle school kissing disease.
How? Really? That's all.
It is. That's how you get it from saliva. So most people get it from kissing.
How the? You know what? Not even gonna ask how you got it.
It's a disease that transfers through saliva. So like if you share a water bottle with someone that's got it, you'll get it. Well, if you sip and then sip, well, that's how it's transferred.
Well, I don't know who the frick he's sharing drinks with, or he shared drinks with.
This was a 20-year-old quarterback in New York. He got it from kissing a girl in a club.
Makes sense to me now.
I'm sorry. If you're the quarterback of the Jets in New York City and you're in your early 20s, you're going to the clubs.
Fair enough.
Sorry, not sorry.
Fair enough. But yeah, Darnold he had a rough first 2 years with the Jets. His third year was in 2020 was the final straw. He went 2-10, 9 touchdowns, 11 picks. Like the future it didn't look bright for him in New York. So he was signed to Carolina, played a couple seasons there. Not too bad.
Decent in Carolina. Like he was a fantasy backup for a little bit in Carolina. Like his first year in Carolina, I had him on my bench for a while. And then he fell off.
Yeah. Wait, your options were that bad?
Well, it was a 14-man league.
Makes sense.
You went. So you found value anywhere. Sam Darnold's not doesn't suck this year. Backup.
You know who your starter was?
A long time ago. I have no idea. I want to. It was a dual threat guy. I have no idea who it was. Well, but I was very on getting the dual threat guy very early. Like I was always a quarterback in the 5th round, so you get a guy that can run and pass.
Yeah, having a dual threat fantasy quarterback does you wonders.
Especially back then when the quarterback wasn't really valued as much. I think the quarterback's getting more respect now, but everyone's like, no, wait to the 9th round. I'm like, I'd rather just take I'd rather grab like Lamar Jackson in the 5th than Derek Carr in the 11th.
Yeah, just get you a solid guy.
Yeah, I want a guy who's gonna consistently put up 20 points a game.
Like Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen, CJ Stroud this year. Well, I know going into the season that's what he was, but not great this year.
Yeah,
Herbert, stuff like that.
Herbert has turned it around for sure from a fantasy perspective. I mean, he's slinging the rock a lot more now with the Chargers. It at the beginning used to look more like a run first offense, and it still kind of is to an extent, but they have to build the ball a little bit more.
It's a hardball offense. It'll be a run first offense till the day he dies.
Yeah, but now they have to throw the ball a lot more because now they have Gus Edwards back at running back because Dobbins is out for the rest, or for at least
this next
4 yeah. He's out for the next 4 games for sure, or the next 3 games after.
I think he could come back in the playoffs if they get there.
Big if there.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to Darnold. Yeah, had a couple years in Carolina, went 8-9, had a literally mediocre seasons, 2 seasons there, 16 touchdowns, 16 interceptions there in his 2 years. Went to SF after to be the backup there, and then now was on the Vikings and was expected to be the backup to JJ McCarthy, or to be the bridge quarterback. But plans changed when McCarthy went down. in the preseason, and everyone's like, "Oh, great, Minnesota's in for a lost year." But like we mentioned, the Bryce Young, all you need is a second chance, or third, or fourth, the way you look at it.
You just need to find the right coach and the right system, and that
Absolutely.
the Jets didn't have that. He had Todd Bowles and Adam Gase. You
Hmm.
know, we Todd Bowles is kind of, I think Todd Bowles is weird because he's okay in Tampa, but I feel like Tampa could be so much better if they had a better coach.
Hmm.
I feel like Bowles holds them back to an extent, and Adam Gase is just a freaking moron.
A moron and a high moron, if I may add. Uh,
Yeah.
he's a weird dude.
Oh, you know,
Um,
those it's so bad. Like when you know from the introductory press conference that this guy's not gonna work out. That's bad. Like at least for Giants fans, like we lost out on Matt Rule and then signed Joe Judge, and we're like, who's Joe Judge? But then like during his press conference, we were all like, I'm gonna run through a brick wall for this coach. Like Jets fans hated the Adam Gase signing when it happened, and then he had such a weird opening press conference. Was like, this is not gonna work at all. This is like he will be fired in 3 years.
yeah. And Matt Rule, he's
It's a great college coach.
great college coach for
Can't wait to
Nebraska.
see what he does with Nebraska.
In the NFL, never again.
Hey, Saban wasn't a good NFL coach, and he's probably the greatest college coach we've ever seen. But you
Yeah.
know, he look at his NFL record with Miami. Not great.
Not the greatest, not the best. Um, but yeah, Darnold paired up with O'Connell in Minnesota. Brian Flores is the DC now. It was is the DC, I should say. Not that it matters to this current topic, but yeah, O'Connell is kind of a quarterback whisperer in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, he's worked with Cousins, obviously. Was about to work with McCarthy, and now has to kind of work with Darnold. And well, speaking about second chances, well, let me finish my point with Darnold first.
Yeah.
Darnold so far this year, 23 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Statistically, all great numbers across the board. Completion percentage, yardage, touchdowns, interceptions are a bit high. This is going to be the fifth time that he's going to have double-digit interceptions in his career. But he's played great. The team's 10. That team's 10-2. Kind of a quiet 10-2.
It's
If
a
I may add.
quiet 10-2 because they got out to such a hot start and cooled off that everyone's kind of forgotten about them. They're like laying low. Like they go 50-50.
Yeah. When I was looking at the standings, I was like, I thought they lost a few more games, but no, they've been 10-2. And speaking about second chances, and we'll keep this one short because I want to talk about a few other players before we move on. Not our boy, but our former starter Daniel Jones signed with the Minnesota Vikings. He was seen this past week on the team. I will say he does look a lot happier. He looks a lot happier.
He doesn't have angry fans calling into local radio stations yelling about him 24/7. As if every media outlet telling him he sucks. He's like, I can just go to Minnesota, get to the playoffs, and just sit quietly on the bench, and no one's gonna talk about me. Awesome.
Perfect.
This is amazing.
I could get something out of this, like a possible Super Bowl ring.
Yeah. Instead of for the past 6 years when I've just been yelled at, telling I suck by everybody.
And look, I mean, New York isn't for everyone. He managed it well off the field. His play on the field was a whole different story, but it's safe to say he's in a better situation now with the Vikings. And maybe O'Connell, because the status of Darnold for next year is up in the air. He's likely going to be a free agent because McCarthy should be healthy for next year. Jones is likely going to be the backup if all goes well. So
Bridge guy, I think he could be the opening day starter next year. Not the long-term starter, but I feel like if they want to ease McCarthy in, and ACL injuries are always so weird that you'll never know like how he'll bounce back from that. Daniel Jones could definitely be taking snaps week 1 for the Minnesota Vikings next year.
Oh yeah, 100%. So, but as of right now, Darnold has played very well, and once again, another example of a guy who got a second chance to prove himself, has played well ever since.
It's an MVP conversation.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, some other guys worth mentioning: Baker Mayfield, after leading to the Browns to a playoff appearance in Cleveland, and they were ungrateful and traded him away or let him go.
Oh, they are so regretting that move right now.
So regretting
They
that
would
move.
they would do anything to bring back Baker Mayfield right now. I know Winston's been great, and I'm sure we're gonna talk about him in a minute because he's another guy like that. But just the fact that, man, we had like the hero Baker Mayfield that like led us out of the abyss of 0-17, 0-16, and then we traded him for the guy with like 36 sexual assault allegations against him. Maybe not the best. And they gave him $230 million, all guaranteed. Maybe not the best move.
Not the best move indeed. But yeah, I mean, once again, hindsight's 2020. Oh nah.
Hindsight's what I feel like the guy hadn't played football in 2 years, had all the off the field issues. Maybe we should be giving him 200+ million guaranteed. Like, the hindsight was, in the moment, this is not going to work out the way the Browns think it does.
Just because he's a big name doesn't mean he'll be good for you. But hey, that's Cleveland for you. They're known for
Much like
sometimes.
Cleveland has sucked since 1999.
There you go. But yeah, Baker has gone through a lot, right? He's drafted was to Cleveland #1 overall. They let him go. He went to Carolina, went to the Rams randomly at one point. And now he's with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he's worked with Todd Bowles to be pretty good. I mean, he was off to a hot start to start the year. They cooled down a lot more recently, but the Bucs, no question, have a chance to win the division, and they have a franchise starting guy in Baker Mayfield. So,
oh yeah.
Who else? Let's see. Malik Willis is a small example. Was traded from the Titans to the Packers, and
yeah. I mean, I don't know about second chance. I think you should just give it a chance.
Give it a chance. Yeah, it's more like it. Yeah, Willis played a couple games, and he looked pretty good. Yeah. And it goes back to what you mentioned with Darnold is all you need is the right coach. In Tennessee, just wasn't it for him. Nope. Came to the Packers with Matt LaFleur. He played well.
Whisper.
Yeah, indeed.
And I know he hasn't gotten to like the heights the Packers expect yet, but like a lot of the success of guys like Jordan Love and Malik Willis and Rodgers to an extent, he had some of his best seasons under Matt LaFleur. That's a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, could you imagine McCarthy was still there? Tell you what, Jordan Love is not the quarterback he is right now.
It's still it could be still Aaron Rodgers because
I don't know. Aaron Rodgers hated McCarthy. He hated him. Towards the end, they did not like each other. Rodgers made it left sooner.
Well, hey, I'm sure he'd rather take that now than when he has to deal with the Jets. So
yeah, I mean Rodgers is just a weird guy. Have you seen the trailer for his Netflix documentary?
I have.
How are you gonna watch this Netflix documentary?
I guarantee you 1,000% I will.
I will definitely be watching because I think it's gonna be the weirdest thing you ever watched. It's gonna be it's like none of this can be working.
You know what's crazy? I don't know if it's for you. I'm not looking forward to the football stuff. I could care less.
I want all the off the field stuff. I'm like, is there a camera in this darkness retreat? Can I have that?
Yeah, I want all the I want
the darkness retreat. I want the Egypt trip because I know he was definitely like the aliens built these pyramids.
Oh my God, no.
That's 100% why he went to Egypt. Like he was just like he's like I'm trying to get to the bottom of this.
I want to find out what really happened.
I want to find out. I want to see the Danica Patrick relationship because I would love to see that dynamic between those two.
Yeah. That ended ugly, huh? If I'm not mistaken.
I don't even remember, but like from the beginning, it's like these two are an odd mix.
Sure were.
Danica's like, I like being the face of GoDaddy, and then Aaron Rodgers is like, you think that like the moon is fake? It's like, Jesus, Aaron, just say I want you to say something normal.
It's like I love you too, Aaron. It's like
yeah, like those two like had conversations, and neither one of them were talking to each other. They were just spewing words at each other. I wrecked a car today. I think that Jerry Jones is a robot. Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I would pay for Aaron Rodgers to do TED Talks.
Oh my goodness, he'd be freaking hilarious. Would we learn something? Yes.
Yes, we would learn something. We would learn Aaron Rodgers is insane.
That's true. But super excited to see that show as well. But
you got breaking news?
Oh my God.
Uh-oh.
I never thought I'd see the day, Brian.
What happened?
Hold on, give me a second.
Oh my God!
I know. Do you want to break it?
Oh, the Athletics have spent money. Everyone, hold on. The A's, it is show related, have signed former New York Met Luis Severino to a 3-year, $67 million contract. It is the largest contract in Oakland A's history. Wow. Man, Sevy going out west, going to go play in the minor league park. I mean, good for him. Good for him getting that bag. A lot of money, but good for him.
I never thought I'd see the day.
Hey, you'll love Severino. You'll love him.
Thank God I'm an A's fan. Let's go.
Those words have never been spoken since 2014. When
Look,
the last time that was spoken, the A's had traded Cespedes for John Lester.
Oh my God, I remember that. That was when we were going all in on our pitching staff.
That's always a great, immaculate, great guy. Cespedes and the Red Sox. Because he's the Red Sox for like 60 games and sucked.
Sometimes it's just the place you go to doesn't work out.
Yep.
And that's but man, I can't wait to talk about that. So we'll talk about that more after we finish with the NFL. But yeah, so Baker, one guy, Malik Willis, another guy that got a chance to prove himself with the Packers, and it looks like I don't know if he's going to remain a Green Bay Packer for the long term, but after what we've seen, I think he deserves another chance to be a starter somewhere just under the right
coach. Team will take a chance on him.
Yeah, for sure. A few other veteran guys, Geno Smith, after going through a few teams himself, including the Jets to start his career, has found a home in Seattle. Kirk Cousins, to an extent, seems like the guy. Oh, no. Cousins doesn't really count because, like, he played well in Minnesota, had another chance to continue to be the guy in Atlanta.
Yeah, like he never
struggled per se.
Yeah. If anything, he took a second chance play from RG3 in Washington.
Oh,
being honest.
Yeah.
Like he was the guy that forced RG3 out. It was Cousins is playing too good to put in an RG3 that's not the guy we drafted second overall.
So, and Cousins to an extent, I don't know why I even thought of him in the first place.
I mean, he's to an extent, but if anything, he's struggled this year, and he looks washed. Like, Michael Penix will be coming in a lot sooner than we expected.
Maybe this is why they drafted Michael Penix.
Yeah, but then why did he sign the 4 years?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Like, the Falcons made a big commitment to Kirk Cousins. Now, if this was like Sam Darnold, I'd be like, I get what you're saying. Or like, Mac Jones, be like, yeah, that's why they signed him, because he knew he was washed and he was coming in. But.
Well, maybe the Falcons are the next team to get criticized for signing a quarterback to a 4-year contract who ends up not working out. And they have to release him.
True, but at least Kirk Cousins was like a serviceable NFL vet. Like, when that contract came down, you're like, that's probably a good deal for them. They got a good quarterback there.
Yeah. But, hopefully we'll see Michael Penix on the field soon. And then I think that's and then, of course, the goofy man himself, Jameis Winston.
The greatest player in NFL history. Guy threw for 670 yards Monday night. Not all of them were to his team, but that's what he did.
You just
how do you hate Jameis Winston?
You can't
explain to me. Like, even if you're a Steelers fan and the Browns are like one of your top rivals, you have to be like, yeah, I hate the Browns, but like Jameis is so funny.
You cannot hate Jameis no matter what team you're a fan of, college or the NFL.
No,
we talked about the college story about how he
it's the greatest story.
was suspended for the game. Or it was for the game because of something, right? Grades, maybe, I think, or whatever the situation was. Still dressed up, was acting like he was gonna play, and then Coach Jimbo Fisher was like, "Why are you dressed up?" And he's like, "I don't know." It was like, you're not supposed to dress up. And he went back to the locker room and he changed before the game or whatever the case may be. But this dude thought he could fool the coach into thinking he could play. And it was he's a weird dude, man. But I went to Tampa Bay, was drafted to Tampa Bay at number 1 overall. He was a solid quarterback. I mean, he won some games. It was just the way he won them. I mean, he would throw 3 or 4 touchdowns, but he also throw like 2, 3 picks in the same game. Literally had a 30 touchdown, 30 interception season, which is unheard of ever since then. But he's the way he acts now, on and off the field,
Yeah.
big, complete 360 from what he used to be. And maybe a diehard James Winston fan would be like, "Oh no, he's always been like this." But I think we're seeing the true kind of.
It's coming out more. It's kind of like in a sitcom where like a character is like kind of dumb like in the first couple seasons, and then as the season goes on, it gets more and more ridiculous. That's kind of the path we see from Jameis Winston so far.
And now he's with Cleveland and got a chance to be the starter once again for the Browns, because there was no way they're going to go to Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and obviously Watson went down. Even when Watson was healthy, there were talks about Winston possibly starting, and Winston has a chance now, and it looks like he has a chance to be the starter for maybe the team as a bridge quarterback if they draft a quarterback this year, which kind of seems unlikely because they still have Watson, but we'll see what happens there with that quarterback situation. But Winston definitely deserves a chance to be a franchise guy.
I don't think Winston returns to Cleveland. I just don't see the fit there for them.
Well,
I think he's gonna with this. I think a team is gonna offer him a lot of money this season and give him a chance to start, which he doesn't have with the Browns. Even with Deshaun, he doesn't have that.
But if the Browns were smart, they would bring him. But they would
if the Browns didn't have the Watson problem, they'd bring him back 100%.
Kind of be that bridge quarterback guy, and he's a serviceable starter. Like I thought we saw Monday night against the Broncos team that is a solid against the pass. Therefore, 400 plus. That's insane. Like that's a guy you want, because we rarely see 400-yard quarterbacks these days.
Yeah.
But in conclusion, and there's still other guys too who are looking to get that second chance. Mac Jones, you just mentioned as well, from the Patriots to Jacksonville. Desmond Ridder.
He's getting it this year. Lawrence is out for the season.
Rest of the season. Yeah, exactly. Desmond Ridder from the Falcons to the Raiders. We'll see what happens there. Daniel Jones from the Giants of Minnesota. That's someone we obviously will always have an eye on.
Zach Wilson from the Jets to the Broncos.
Who he's not going to probably be the starter in Denver, but there's good vibes in Denver.
That's great vibes. You got Bo Nix.
Yeah, Bo Nix is playing well, and everything. So we'll see what happens with these young quarterbacks, or quarterbacks in general, who struggle on their first teams and get a chance to kind of prove themselves again in their second year, or second team, I should say. But it's safe to say, sometimes all you need is a second chance. And that's what the NFL is all about.
Yep.
Unless you do something stupid, like Watson or Ray Rice.
Yeah, Watson, Ray Rice didn't deserve second chances.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Winston deserves as many chances as you can get.
100%.
Just keep going out there and just doing your thing, man.
The whole Monday night thing where he was the graphic where I'm sure you've seen that. Right? Oh my goodness. Because you see Bo Nix just like.
Yeah, Bo Nix was like the casual quarterback. James Winston's like, EWs.
He's like throwing the ball back and forth. It's making some like weird ass faces. So he's so goofy, man. I love James. I think we all love Jameis, and yeah, thank God he's a starter for the Browns, and they can still make the playoffs. But just like the Panthers we talked about on Tuesday, a lot of things have to go right. So we'll see what happens there. All right. Well, the Oakland A just made the news today for the weirdest.
They spent money. They spent money, and that is shocking.
Yeah, 3 years, $67 million, largest in franchise history. Contains an opt-out after the second season, according to Jeff Passan, one of the best MLB reporters ever to exist. The $67 million guarantee is the largest in the Athletics history, surpassing Eric Chavez's 6 years, $66 million deal signed in 2004. So, Blue Jays met with Corbin Burns. That's weird.
Yeah, they're in on everyone right now. Blue Jays are a sneaky team.
Including Juan Soto.
They'll sign someone big. I don't think it would be Soto or Burns, but they'll land somebody. Like, oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, what's this? Otani's Oh
They
man,
were in the Ohtani sweepstakes last year too. Like Ohtani was pretty much a Dodger when he went to free agency. But like the Blue Jays were very like, we will back the truck up for you if you want to come here. And he's like, no, I'm staying on the West Coast.
it's like nah. I'll go.
Wait, you want me to come to Toronto in Canada, or I can go to sunny LA and win championships with the Dodgers? I'm going to the Dodgers.
I'm gonna say that instead.
I don't really feel like going to Canada.
Bro, all I see right now is like I look up Oakland A, so I'm trying to find the article.
Everyone on Twitter is just like, the A's spent how much money?
The A spent money in free agency in this Joe Biden economy.
In this economy?
Oh man, I think the cherry on top for this offseason is if we get Sean Manaea, kind of bring back him, man, because he was
No, Manaea's mine. Do not take Manaea.
I know, I'm sorry, but if he comes back here, it'd be a hell of a story to come back.
I mean, it would be a great story, but like, we're the ones that revived his career. You deserve to come back to us.
Fair enough. For the Mets,
you can take Sevy though. Sevy's fine. You know, he's not the ace anymore that everyone thought he was, but he's respectable. You know, he pitched to a 3.91 ERA. You know, in 182 innings. He's a fine mid rotation pitcher.
Yeah. And well, for the ace, he's gonna be the ace.
I mean, yeah, but that's the A's.
That's true. Him and JP Sears.
Yeah, like he's the ace in the A's, but like on a normal team or a team that's like, you know, mid of the road or contending, not, you know, playing in a minor league stadium, he'd be a mid rotation guy.
And for those of you Mets fans out there, including yourself, Brian, you will receive a pick after the 4th round of next year's draft as compensation.
Let's go.
But the pick is so low because of your status as competitive balance taxpayers. So,
hey, more draft picks. Hey, every draft pick in MLB is lottery. We're not going to see any of these guys for 5 years. Okay, correct. So like, if we develop them right, it doesn't really matter where we pick them.
That's true. That is true. But the reason why we bring them up today is because of the whole stadium situation. I believe the cost now on top of what it was before.
$250 million more than originally projected.
Yeah.
It was like 1.5 billion, I want to say.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Right? That's about it.
Yeah, it's now 1.75 billion.
Yeah, yep.
According to
they already had problems getting the public funding in Vegas. Now it's like, actually, we need more. Like, what do you mean we need more?
According to a letter to the Vegas Stadium Authority, the senior vice president of US Bank wrote that John Fisher, whose net worth is $3.2 billion, can comfortably afford the now $1.75 billion project. Must be freaking nice to use daddy and mommy's money to afford things like this.
Yeah, I wish I was the CEO of the Cap.
Yeah, stupid. I swear I hate him. I don't know who. Well, I guess the GM, Forrest or whoever made this move to sign Sevy. Thank you for doing that, because I swear I thought we were gonna go and do another offseason of just doing nothing.
I'm surprised. Like that stadium, Oakland's the A's are playing in is not liked by the MLB. Like MLB players openly like that stadium is the worst. Like any player that plays there, it's like it's terrible.
You know why we didn't sign Walter Buehler, right?
Why?
Because he didn't want to pitch in the stadium.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is freaking stupid.
I get it though. Like it's your home ballpark. Like you have to be 82. Like that's like going to an office building. It's like, this office kind of sucks.
No, I don't blame Buehler at all. It's just freaking stupid how the reason it's because of our damn stadium. Now Sevy, maybe he doesn't mind pitching in Sacramento. Maybe in a small ballpark, but
or maybe it was just the A's gave him a contract he couldn't refuse, which is very, very weird to think about. That the A's gave him the most money that he was like, I can't turn down that offer.
I know. You think the Mets offered him something?
I think the Mets had a conversation with him. I don't know if they had a formal offer, because they signed Montas this week to a 2-year, $34 million deal.
Oh, look at that. Frankie Montas. He was a former Oakland A.
He was an A, yeah. So kind of a switch.
Yeah.
I love the move. There's an article coming out on Belly Up Sports, hopefully today at some point, about the Montas signing.
Damn right.
Kind of what he means to us.
All right. But before it seems like the A Stadium is still a go. I mean, it is a go apparently according to this report. U.S. Bank and Goldman Sachs, whatever.
Facts.
They're loaning. Thank you. All right, are loaning John Fisher $300 million for construction costs, and the public is chipping in $380 million. So he's not paying for everything. So he's still
But he's
cheap as
paying for a
fudge.
big chunk of it. He's doing like 1 point something billion on that.
Still, daddy's money.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying. At least he's paying for it. Like at least he's not like holding Vegas hostage, like he tried to hold Oakland hostage. It was like we want you to pay half. It's like, what do you mean half?
Still pisses me off how.
Oh no! Don't get me wrong. He's the worst owner in baseball. He's terrible. The MLB should force him to sell. I don't think if the project is already $250 million over budget and you haven't even broken ground yet, it's going to be a lot more.
I wish they
like that stadium could end up costing $2.5 billion.
It might. It just freaking might. It honestly might at this point.
I worked in construction, like in an office building construction last summer. Like construction projects are normally a little more expensive than they're expected to be because just something comes up you just can't plan for.
Yeah. So the ballpark was originally going to cost $1.5 billion, but they wanted to make improvements to fan and player amenities, including suite spaces. So that raised the bill. Construction is scheduled to start next spring, and the A's hope it's ready for 2028. So
yeah, it won't be.
Yeah,
they might not even move to Vegas at this point.
I know at this point, dude.
At this point, like it might, if that cost keeps going up, which like I said, we haven't broken ground yet, and we're already $250 million more than we expected. Like if that goes up, Fisher might have to sell or like go back to Oakland and beg.
I know.
Because like the MLB might be okay with them playing in Sacramento for right now. They are not going to be okay if it's like a 5-10 year stay in that small ballpark. They're going to be like, no, you gotta have a major league stadium at some point.
Manfred has to step in. See,
Manfred's an idiot and won't, but thank God he's out in 2029. That new commissioner, his first move might be trying to figure out what's going on with the Vegas situation. That's going to be like his first issue.
The day Manfred's contract is up, he's done miracles on me. The Kanye song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God he's gone because he's just an idiot.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we're done with the A's thing now.
Yeah.
Good job, A's. We signed Severino.
Good job acting like a Major League Baseball team with $1 billion owner.
Yeah.
And signing somebody.
Yeah, and that's like, okay, Manfred. Before we move on to some NFL stuff, really, dude, the whole golden at bat use. If that goes through, I may get. Not that I give up with baseball, but
it's a joke. It's Savannah Banana stuff. It literally is it's a rule from the Savannah Bananas. Like
it's for them.
The Savannah Bananas are awesome, but they're not they're a baseball team like the Harlem Globetrotters are a basketball team. Like you don't see the NBA looking at the Globetrotters like, well, maybe we should start allowing the players to pants each other. Maybe that will get the attention more. Like you don't see that popping up.
I think we're struggling to be consistent. And here's what I mean. Or not consistent. No. I take that back. We're trying different things to stay relevant. It's not going to work. MLB, look, the pitch clock,
great.
Perfect. Just don't. There's no need to make changes, Manfred. Seriously. Yeah. The whole golden at bat thing.
No.
Like, look at the freaking Dodgers. Like, imagine striking Ohtani out, and it's like, oh, no, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs left. We just struck out Ohtani. We can move on to Freeman. Oh, no, wait, Ohtani's coming back because the golden at bat rule.
It's like, guys, this is wrestling.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't just like, actually, he's coming up.
Yeah, it's like, no, don't do that. No need to do that. Man, it's the most unnecessary new rule.
I'll be right back. Keep talking.
Yeah, of course. It's the most unnecessary new rule to be brought up. With the NBA. I believe, on the TV broadcast, so we're all used to seeing the regular games, 5-on-5, NBA basketball, all the good stuff, right, on TV. Apparently now, I'm not sure if it's just TNT or if it's ESPN or everything is both. For some reason for basketball, they're implementing NBA 2K graphics into the TV broadcast, which is the most unnecessary thing because look, when I want to watch, if I want to play NBA 2K, I'll play NBA 2K. Newsflash, I don't. But if I want to play that, I will. I don't need to see NBA 2K graphics on my TV broadcast. Let me see the players. I don't want to see PlayStation buttons or
Yeah,
Xbox
no.
buttons on the top. I don't want to see the green meter. Like, no, there's no, we're making changes to try to stay relevant in sports when in reality you just gotta just be the same. Like there's
Just
no
put a
need to make.
good product on the field and people will
Yeah.
watch. Now, did baseball need tweaking? 100%. Like,
Yes.
pitch clock was great. 3 batter minimum. That's a tough one, but I've learned to like it. Ghost runner. I think it's stupid, but like, as a hockey fan, like, it's no different to me than a shootout. Like, would I probably would tweak it so like you play like the 10th, 11th inning with no runner on second, but in the 12th inning you put the ghost runner out there and it saves arms the regular season. I get that. But those things didn't change like the fundamentals of baseball, Like they weren't like redefining the wheel. The golden at bat rule does that because since baseball's been adopted, it's the batting order. You don't mess with the batting order. Now you're messing it up. And like what happens when he gets on and his, let's just say let's say Pete Alonso is up. Let's say Pete Alonso is due up third in the order, third in the inning, and is a
Yeah.
runner on second. There
Okay.
is the golden at bat rule on Pete Alonso. His turn, he gets on first base. He takes a walk. Then his turn comes up in the batting order, and he's now standing on third. Well, what are we supposed to do now? Like, is there going to be like a ghost runner, like backdoor wiffle ball, like on third
Pinch
base? Like, yeah,
pinch
Pete
runner.
Alonso is standing on third. Like, no, guys, no.
Pinch runner at third.
Like a pinch
Bring
runner
it
at
back to
third. Well,
the
does he have to stay in the game now? Because that's the rule for pinch runners. Once they enter the game, they have to stay in or they're out for the rest of the game. So
That's
are you
true.
burning a bench spot now?
It's just so many different details that go into it where it's like it's just not the best move at all.
No.
So yeah, so that's MLB
Like if they
for you,
want to bring
man.
in a rule change, do the challenge, the balls and strike challenge, where like they tap the helmet and it immediately goes on the big board like tennis, and you see
Oh,
where the ball is, and it's like instant.
instant.
I think that's the perfect compromise between like the people who want robots and the people who want the human element, because human element is still there, but if it's egregious, it can be corrected.
Mhm. And the rules, like, it wouldn't be too big a rule to implement. It's a rule that works out for everyone. We
We
saw
already have
possible.
challenges, and this is an easier challenge because it's just a graphic on the big board.
Yeah, it's like be
It
like
takes 2
this,
seconds.
shown on the big screen, everyone can see it, and then if it's we can see in the square if it's ball or strike, and then move
Yeah,
on. Like it'll take like
exactly.
30 seconds. It doesn't
Uh-huh.
take that long.
The broadcast puts it up like where the pitch was in that pitch box, like the next like 2 seconds
Yeah,
later. We have the technology. Let's use it.
exactly. So that's a rule that we
We
want to see.
have technology.
You hear that, Manfred? Figure it out. No, seriously. But yeah, that's one rule I would definitely want to see implemented in baseball, maybe. And it will be. I think that they obviously have working on it in AAA or AA, whatever the
I
case
think
may
it's in
be.
every minor league system right now. So I think it's coming because the bigger bases, the pitch clock, those were all in the minors before they made their way to MLB. The minor leagues have become the testing ground for all these stupid rules.
Well, they ran into the golden at bat. That needs to not be passed at all.
Yeah,
If that passes, I give
I
up.
think that was more just Manfred trying to stir up buzz. But like, if we see this rule in the minors, that's when you start to panic. Like, oh crap, it's coming.
It's like, oh boy. All right. Well, that's it for baseball. It's winter time. Baseball's kind of quiet. Well, until today for the A's, but we'll see what happens
Next week with
next
winter
brother.
meetings, lots of movement going to happen next week.
Juan Soto.
Juan Soto will be signed by next week.
He'll be going somewhere. We'll see where he goes.
Queens.
I mean, hey, very realistic because Cohen's
already said he's going to do whatever it takes to get him.
He's got the money. Show me the money. He's going to show the money. All right. Oh, this is weird. Diontae Johnson suspended.
Yes, I saw this walk into work yesterday. Never what happened here? I saw he got suspended.
No drug use, no alcohol use, no
it was just like he didn't want to play or something.
Yeah, suspended one game for something detrimental to the team. action detrimental to the team or whatever. Apparently reports say that he was asked to go into the game against the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday and declined. I don't blame him. What is going on with him though? I will say, because he was traded, you bring him in to be the number 2, number 3 guy. Only had what, 17 routes ran in his first game, which is fine as your first game, but it's kind of just decreased ever since. And it's a weird trade because they didn't need to do that. If you're
No.
Baltimore, you already had Flowers, you have Andrews, you have Likely, you have Bateman. Who else do you have in Baltimore? Aguilar or whatever. There was just no, and you're not
They
a
weren't
passing
adding
offense.
much with Diontae Johnson. Like Diontae Johnson wasn't coming in and improving the team dramatically.
Yeah, and you're not a passing offense anyway. There's no need to bring in a guy like that because he needs to go on a pass happy team. But I'm not just blaming the team. I think there's something. I think he's a locker room issue.
Oh my God, he is.
I
That's how
think
he got
that
run out of Pittsburgh.
Yeah. You think Baltimore like didn't have any red flags go off when they traded before they traded for him, like, oh, Pittsburgh kind of let him go. He was in Carolina and
I
then
think it's one of those things, like the same reason why the Bills try to get Antonio Brown and why the Raiders end up getting him. It's just like, hey, maybe he's just not happy in that situation. If we can get him in Baltimore where it's like a good culture, we're winning, maybe he'll calm down a little bit and like more focus on what's going on in the field. But that's just not the case.
So it's a mess there right now, and I think it could be a chance he could be released. So kind of a wasted trade for him. But if this keeps up, I think he might be released by the team, and we'll
I
see.
mean, if he's released by the team, like what team is going to sign him? Like he's a good talent. Like he's a good talent, but he's not worth the head case that he is. Like you kind of you dealt with what Antonio Brown and Odell Beckham Jr. were doing because they were arguably the best receiver in the league at the time. It's like, okay, Odell is proposing the kicking that's on the sideline, but he also had 10 receptions for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. We'll have to deal, guys. We'll have to figure out a way. Diontae Johnson is an average wide receiver 2, maybe what's upside of a low end wide receiver 1.
Very low end 1,
like
if anything.
low end.
Yeah, so
like he just doesn't have like the skills or like the production that cancels out the distraction that he is.
So yeah, I mean, someone will sign him because of his talent. Just a matter of they'll deal with the locker room stuff or his, antics and whatnot. But so far, not a good look for him being traded from a bad team to a contender, and now being suspended by the team for not even wanting to go into a game. You could also blame Baltimore as well for not maybe implementing him into the team as good as they should.
Yeah.
But I'm mostly blaming Johnson for this one because, there's a reason why he got to Pittsburgh, and there's a reason why Carolina was willing to trade him. So another guy that got suspended, Azeez Shair, officially 3 games suspended for the hit on Trevor Lawrence.
I mean, this guy's a scumbag. Like, he deserves to be out. He deserves to be out for the season.
He apologized, and then I think he kind of just took it back in a way. Like,
yeah, I mean, like, this is a dirty player. He's dirty. Like, it's an inexcusable hit. The way you acted afterwards, trying to fight everybody, then trying to fight the fans, so much so that security had to run you off the field. You get no sympathy. And then the videos come out of you choking Tom Brady on the field and the other dirty hits. Like, no, you are a dirty player. You are like this generation's version of Vontaze Burfict. Like, stop. You're a villain now.
And then he has that post yesterday. He comes out with like, if you guys want to make me the villain, I'll be the villain. I'm like, no.
You don't want to be that villain. Vontaze Burfict was hated. And like I think even Bengals fans like, yeah, that guy's dirty.
Let's see what he's done for so far in his career. 27-year-old linebacker, played for the Niners in 2019. Nope, he don't seem very notable to me. No. No awards. Nothing. Nada. Drafted, undrafted free agent. Yep, good season in SF, and that's pretty much it. Matter of fact, he's always been like just no. He had a 163-yard tackle season in Tennessee, so I guess it's something. But that is just about that you're a dirty player. So sorry, not sorry. But yeah, he's spent for 3 games, and Trevor Lawrence is officially out for the season, which means Mac Jones will be the starter for Jacksonville. And honestly, even if Lawrence was able to come back, I don't think you play Lawrence anyways. I just think it's already a lost season for you guys, as for them, or for them, I should say, as it is. So it is what it is there. And I spelled Shair's name wrong. I do apologize for that.
He doesn't deserve it. He's a dirty scumbag.
Yeah, you're damn right. You're damn right. All right, last topic.
Don't do the textbook. It's like everything the NFL is trying to prevent, he did.
Yeah.
Like I know you're not a Star Wars fan, but there's a show called Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and there's a running joke that they just use the Geneva Conventions as a checklist. If you watch the show, they fake surrender, which you're not allowed to do. They do a lot of stuff that, by war terms, is extremely illegal. Al-Shair basically did that with how you're not supposed to hit somebody. It's like, all right, hit the head, level the crown of my helmet. He was sliding. I hit him defensively. Got them all.
I did all the things the NFL does not want us to do.
I did all the things the NFL wanted me not to do.
But I'm going to act like I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So, yeah, I remember when after he kind of got up and was like this, like, what did I do? And Ingram just pushed the heck out of him. Oh, props to Evan Ingram, though, for real. He stood up for his guy, or he just pushed Al-Shair after. That's a real teammate right there, I will say. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, we can't leave this podcast without talk about the Giants, I guess. Drew Lock is going to be the starter against the Saints. The Giants are back home on Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Start time, I should say.
What did he freaking do?
Yeah. We made history again, actually. We have the fewest interceptions through 14 weeks in NFL history.
Woohoo! Let's go, boys!
Our only pick was in week 1.
If you're going to be bad, at least be memorable.
We are in danger of setting the single season record for the fewest interceptions in the season. The current record is 2 by the SF 49ers in 2018. The 2020 Texans and the 1982 Oilers have the next worst with 3. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. This is where the whole Xavier McKinney's conversation steps in, because he has 7 interceptions. Yeah, we freaking suck. Talk about this team makes me depressed as hell. And to make matters worse, we're injury riddled. Because on the injury report, we yesterday, Illuminor did not practice, Evan Neal did not practice, Devontae Brinks did not practice, Nunez Roches did not practice, and Okereke did not practice. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, the reason why I bring it up, they are week to week, which means all of them could miss Sunday's game against the Saints. And that brings up the next question as to, will I be watching that game? We'll have to see. Because if Okereke is not playing, if Banks is not playing, if Illuminor is not playing, and if Neal's not playing, who is going to block and who is going to make tackles for this defense? Great question. We'll find out, because this team looks like we're going for another freaking loss on Sunday. And for those of you who have Alvin Kamara on your fantasy team, he is a must start, because I can guarantee you he's rushing for 100 plus against us, 100%. But at least your luck is starting. Like, that's something, like a positive, I guess, out of all this. Like, he's starting for the Giants.
I don't know. Like, at this point, we're just watch the college. Watch college this weekend. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna root for the conference championship games, and then
right. It's this week. It's this week, isn't it? I thought when's Army Navy? Next week.
Next weekend.
Let's go. What do you know where it's at? Is it at Lincoln?
Let It was at MetLife 2 years ago. It was at Gillette last year. It's either in Lincoln or it's in SoFi.
SoFi. No,
Yeah, SoFi is getting it in a couple of years.
Landover, Maryland.
Oh, it's the Ravens
Oh.
Stadium this year. Okay, I knew that was coming too. I'm
Oh.
like, they have SoFi. I mean, this is what Army Navy. Like, I know I like Army Navy being in Philly because like that's like the birthplace of America and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But like every 5 years, like, can we like switch it up? Like, let's get some other let's let California experience it. Let's let New York experience it. Let's go to Houston, Houston experience it. Let's let other places enjoy this historic like probably the most famous rivalry in American sports is Army Navy. It's definitely the most unique. Like,
It is.
France doesn't have Army versus their Army versus Navy playing soccer. We're I think the only country that has the Army versus Navy playing in the game.
Yeah. It's always fun to watch those two teams play. That's like the one college football game I will.
It's the best college football game of the year, and it's the game that like you always bet on the over, and you just hope.
You just hope. Yeah. If you bet under, you're just a wuss. Like, we know they're gonna go under, but if you go over, you'll be sweating because those teams. And honestly, this is the year where it actually could go over because both offenses can score.
This could be the first time in years the Army Navy over is over 40. It's normally like 32.
And the uniforms are always the best part, man. The uniforms are always. I think Navy's is my favorite. Army's looks great, but I think Navy's.
They always have cool logos. They always. Yeah. I feel like NCAA, if they're smart during that week, they should just put all the jerseys into the game.
Oh my god, please! If they do that, I will rebuild Navy or Army. Yeah. No,
I've always wanted to rebuild a service academy because I think it's fun. Because they are historically good. Yeah. They're not like slouches. Like, these are at one point were the best schools in the country. So to get back to that is kind of cool. Which is why I was kind of rooting. If Army or Navy wasn't on Notre Dame's schedule, I'd be rooting for them to go undefeated because I would want them in the playoffs, but Notre Dame was going to stop that.
Yeah, you rooted for them, so nice job. Nice job, guys. Thanks. All right. I think that will do it. We hope you guys enjoyed college football. This weekend, starting today, is the start of the conference games. No, it starts tomorrow. My apologies. So tomorrow is Western Kentucky, Jacksonville State, UNLV versus Boise State, and then Tulane versus Army for the AAC. And then Saturday, we have the big game. So that's Iowa State, Arizona State, Georgia, Miami, Ohio, Georgia, Texas, Marshall, Louisiana, Penn State, Oregon, and Clemson. SM. Whoa. Oh, well, Eric Bieniemy got fired by UCLA.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Well, we know where he's going.
Yeah.
Kansas City. You're up. Nah, but
he's gonna turn home.
And I won't be freaking surprised. Honestly, at this point,
remember when he was the next great NFL coach?
Yeah,
and just never got hired.
Well, he might at this point.
It was like 3 cycles. It's like, maybe this guy isn't as good as we all think he is. Like, after the first cycle, it's like, wow, I can't believe nobody signed him. The second one's like, huh, that's weird. And then the third time's like, okay, maybe this guy just isn't that good.
I can guarantee you 80% chance he's going to go to Kansas City again.
Oh, my God. 100. Yeah, he'll be the quarterback's coach, or they'll fire Nagy, and he'll be the OC again.
Wait, so if he's fired now, he could go back to KC right now as like an analyst.
A senior analyst or like a special advisor. Yeah, you could do that and then move in.
He's going back in there. He's so. Mm-hmm. I bet they're on the phone right now. I bet if you speak. But
if I'm Andy Reid, I'd be like, hey, you want to come back?
For sure. Why not? But yeah, that'll do it. Episode 46 of the Thursday podcast. Not a lot of Giants talk today. There's really no point.
Why? Who wants to talk about the worst team in the league? Explain to me. If you're upset we didn't talk about the Giants, what are we going to talk about? That we suck and the entire team is hurt?
They suck. The Saints are going to win. Injuries, like they're all things we've discussed for the first 13 weeks.
Are you really excited about Drew Lock? I'm only excited about Drew Lock because we looked semi-competitive, and it wasn't a complete embarrassment on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it was. If y'all want to hear us be fake positive, you
There's
can
no
watch
fake
our.
positivity. The positivity is going to come when we have the first overall pick.
It's
I
gonna be
didn't
a
drink last
long
night. We had
time.
Joe Burrow.
It's gonna be a long. Well, it's gonna be a while till the draft. So
Yeah, I legit thought, I'm like, well, like, maybe, and I'm like, no, it's not happening.
mock draft next week. We'll
Yep.
be looking at rookies and stuff. But thank you guys as always for watching and supporting us. We do appreciate it as always. You can follow Brian on social media at BrianPG1016. You can follow me on social media at Nathan_Nguyen24 and our podcast page at Third and Pod on all things social media, Twitter, X, or Twitter/X, TikTok, and Instagram. A few clips on Instagram or on social media already for us as well. But we hope you guys enjoy college football this weekend. We hope you enjoy the NFL as well. And for those of you watching the Giants game, please don't.
Watch Red Zone. Or
Yes.
You know what? This is the perfect week. This is right around Christmas time. Go get your tree. Go make your wife or significant other happy. Go get your tree this week. Like, you know what? I'm not watching the Giants. Let's go get our Christmas tree.
Yeah. No, just
I've already been told by my mom that's what we're doing. So
fantastic.
I'll be watching. I'll have an ear pod in with the game on.
I will be sleeping.
I have a mental illness with this team.
I will get my rest that night or Saturday night heading into Sunday morning. I do not want to watch any Giant. Well, I might. If we're competitive,
I'm definitely gonna watch the game. Like, we're saying all this once, but Sunny's gonna come around and we'll be watching the game. And it's like, why do we do this to ourselves?
I will watch it if we're not down 21-0.
That's fair.
There you go. For Brian, I'm Nate. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Yeah. Have a good one.